Do you want to know how rich Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank is? Curious about how he makes his money or what he's worth? Then you have to watch this video. In this video, we'll be looking at how Kevin O'Leary got rich, his net worth, expensive assets and collections, and so much more. I'll also be dropping some amazing facts along the way, so you have to stick with me to the end. Before we go on, don't forget to click on the like button and subscribe to this channel. Also, turn on post notifications so you never have to miss another video. Alright, let's get into it. Before we get into how much Kevin O'Leary is worth, his expensive assets, and all that good stuff, let's take a brief look into who Kevin O'Leary is. Who is Kevin O'Leary? Kevin O'Leary is a Canadian businessman, entrepreneur, author, investor, and television personality. Kevin O'Leary was born in 1954 in Montreal, Canada. He got his MBA in entrepreneurship from the Ivey Business School at the University of Western Ontario in 1980. Kevin O'Leary is married to Linda and they have 2 children. Kevin O'Leary is popular for appearing on a number of shows. Back in 2006, O'Leary was one of the 5 venture capitalists on the show Dragon's Den on CBC, where aspiring Canadian entrepreneurs pitched their business proposals and ideas to a panel of venture capitalists. On the show, O'Leary became known for being blunt and sometimes mean. This attitude must have somehow contributed to the massive success of the show, which went on to become one of the most watched shows on CBC. Moving forward to 2009, Shark Tank, which is the American version of Dragon's Den, began, and O'Leary was invited to appear on the show. Kevin O'Leary got his nickname Mr. Wonderful on the first season of Shark Tank, and this has stuck with him since. Kevin O'Leary mentioned in his interview with Boston Magazine that he'll show up at hotels and his reservation will be under the name Mr. Wonderful. O'Leary maintained his direct and blunt persona on Shark Tank, which either made people like him or dislike him. Anyway, O'Leary became very popular from Shark Tank. Kevin O'Leary has also appeared in several other television shows, including the Discovery Channel's Discovery Project Earth and The Lang, and O'Leary Exchange on CBC's News Network. I think you have enough background knowledge about the famous Mr. Wonderful now. The question is, how did Kevin O'Leary get rich? I've mentioned that he's a Canadian businessman, an entrepreneur, but he sure didn't wake up one morning to millions of dollars just laying around in his account. Also, O'Leary wasn't born into a super wealthy family. Here's how Kevin O'Leary got rich. Back in college, Kevin O'Leary's first business venture was an independent film production company called Special Event Television, or SET. He co-founded this business with 2 of his MBA classmates. They successfully produced some television shows, commercials, and sports programs like The Original Six and Bobby Orr and the Hockey League. They also produced some sport documentaries and sport commercials. While this business was going quite well, Kevin was convinced this was not what he wanted to do. So Kevin sold his shares to one of his partners for $25,000 and put his career as a producer behind him to focus on his next line of business. After Kevin sold his shares, he started Softkey along with 2 business partners. Softkey started small in a basement in Toronto, and the company was into publishing and distributing CD-ROM-based personal computer software for Windows and Macintosh computers. Kevin O'Leary had to start searching for funding for the business after a major investor backed out. Kevin used up all the money he got from selling his SET shares and also got an investment of $10,000 from his mother to establish Softkey software products. At this time, people were beginning to get their first computers, and it was obvious to Kevin that in the next few years, software companies were going to thrive. Softkey focused on the educational niche, and they developed several educational software products. Softkey encountered a lot of competition at the beginning stages, but they were able to dominate their competitors in just a few years by employing marketing strategies that made them stand out. For example, they displayed their products in both software stores and general stores. So if you went to the store to get books or stationaries, you'll most likely come across Softkey's products and might end up buying one or 2. In the early 1990s, Softkey acquired rivals such as WorldStar International and Spinnaker Software. Throughout the 90s, Softkey acquired most of its competitors, including a company called The Learning Company, TLC, and also adopted the name TLC after the acquisition. In 1999, Mattel offered to buy the company for $4.2 billion. Kevin took the deal, and this is how Kevin made most of his money. Of course, Kevin didn't stop there. In 2003, Kevin left the software and educational computer game scene to become a co-investor and director at Storage Now Holdings, a storage company in Canada. 4 years later, Kevin successfully sold his shares, which he acquired at $500,000 for $4.5 million when Storage Now Holdings was sold. This is how Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, made his money. If you've been enjoying this video so far, kindly give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Moving on. What is Kevin O'Leary's net and how does he make money? As of 2022, Kevin O'Leary's net worth is estimated to be roughly $400 million, making him the second richest shark from Shark Tank after billionaire Mark Cuban. O'Leary has founded several businesses over the years: O'Leary Ventures, a private early-stage venture capital investment company, O'Leary Mortgages, O'Leary Books, and O'Leary Fine Wines. In 2014, O'Leary Mortgages closed, but the other businesses are still functioning. Kevin O'Leary started his wine business, O'Leary Fine Wines, to give people great wine at amazing prices. He decided to invest in his own wine company where you can get quality wine for as low as $17.99. Kevin is apparently transitioning his fine wine business into an affordable luxury business known as Shop Mr. Wonderful. Kevin O'Leary has also written several books, and he earns royalties from the books. In 2011, he published his first book, Cold Hard Truth on Men, Women, and Money. In 2012, he published a sequel, The Cold Hard Truth on Men, Women, and Money, 50 Common Money Mistakes and How to Fix Them, which is one of his greatest successes. O'Leary also earns from his several speaking engagements, management fees from his investment fund, O'Leary Investment, and also earnings from his own diverse investments. Kevin O'Leary earns about $30,000 per Shark Tank episode, and this amounts to a little above $700,000 per year. Kevin O'Leary also invests in cryptocurrency, and he owns several coins in the cryptocurrencies. One thing is for sure, Kevin O'Leary has a lot of investments. The man has a good eye for good business and investment opportunities, and this is most likely why he's currently worth millions of dollars. Lastly, let's look at Kevin O'Leary's assets and collections. Like most rich people, Kevin O'Leary has quite a number of expensive assets. Kevin O'Leary also loves to spend his money on collecting some really expensive items, starting from cars. Even though he doesn't own a car anymore, Kevin has a long list of expensive cars that he used to own. This includes a Ford Mondeo worth $27,000, a Honda CR-V worth $48,800, a BMW 4 Series worth about $47,000, and the list goes on and on. He didn't purchase any car that was below $15,000, and the icing on the cake was when Kevin turned 50 and decided to gift himself a 2004 Porsche 911 Carrera worth over $50,000. Kevin also enjoys collecting wristwatches. As of late 2015, Kevin had a collection of over 30 watches, including a luxury wristwatch brands like Panerai Luminar and Rolex Submariner. All of his watches are usually fitted with a red strap, except those that are of the metal type. Some of his watches are also custom made. Kevin makes sure he doesn't just collect these wristwatches, and he wears at least a different watch every day. Kevin also has a collection of vintage cameras and has also purchased and invested in photography works, especially that of Canadian photographers such as Edward Bertinsky and Barbara Coe. His passion for photography began back when he was younger and he wanted to become a photographer. But his stepfather advised against it and told him to go to university instead. This is how Kevin O'Leary forgot about his photography career and went ahead to get his MBA. Kevin also has several other collections like vinyl records and wines. He also has an extensive collection of guitars. Kevin has spent quite a lot collecting guitars, especially Les Paul's guitars, including one signed by Les Paul. Kevin owns a large condo that he uses as his main residence on Marlborough Street in the expensive part of Boston, Massachusetts. The condo is a 2,300 square foot brownstone condo. In addition to his condo, Kevin also owns a cottage in Lake Joseph, Ontario, Canada. The 35-acre property has 1,150 feet of shoreline, a 9,800 square foot main cottage, and a boathouse with a boat. He bought the land for about $760,000, spent around $4.6 million building the house, and has spent millions on major renovations. Kevin also has properties in other parts of the world, including Toronto and Geneva, Switzerland. There you have it. In this video, we discussed the brief history of Kevin O'Leary and how he got rich. We also looked at Kevin O'Leary's net worth and some of his expensive assets and collections. I hope I've been able to answer the question, how rich is Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to show support by clicking on the like button and also subscribing to this channel. If you like this topic, we have similar videos for you to enjoy on the screen. You can click on one to watch now. Bye!